Hello.
I am so happy that you're cheery and cheerful.
It's my Coquette app.
It's your Coquette. You look adorable. Let me just say that you look like a doll.
Thank you.
She looks adorable. If you're just listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you are missing out on this live action doll. She's cute. So is this Coquette?
Yeah, this is my version of Coquette.
Great. We're going to talk about that so we can explain to our listeners what coquette means. And let's talk a little bit about that, the illusion of coquette, and how we are currently surviving in this,
Barely.
barely surviving in this very financially demanding world. Welcome to episode 27.
This only works because you keep track because I forgot clearly.
And that was her job.
Yeah, this is my job, and I have one job and I don't do it well.
Season 3, episode
27.
Yeah, but is it episode 3 too as well? Episode 3 of season 3 or episode 2 of season 3? It's episode 27. Welcome back.
Sex. Relationships.
Careers.
And just plain life. From the experience of two Latina actresses.
Welcome to the Unfiltered. Hola, soy Vanesa Tomasino.
Mi nombre es Maria Brusón.
I wanted to throw in a little Spanish because a lot of people don't know that we are full Latinas, and then the Latinos think that we are letting them out of this conversation because we don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we do this in English, and you can hear about it in the first episode.
That's true. But I think I want to revisit, the reason why. I mean, we did the whole podcast in English for many reasons, right? But I'm starting to think too that now that we have been doing this for almost 3 years,
Wow.
I know, wow, that sounded a lot.
That's crazy.
That's overwhelming. Okay. I need a break.
Yeah.
That was like, true wave.
Where did time go?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we just started yesterday.
Yeah.
But clearly we haven't. So the Spanish. I think originally we thought about doing it in Spanish because we are from El Salvador. El Salvador is a very tiny country in Central America. That's south of Mexico, next to Guatemala.
Yeah. I think it would have been easier to do it in Spanish, but we don't like easy. We like a challenge. No, for many reasons. I think like if we would have done it in Spanish, we could have more guests in the show.
Yeah.
But we just thought that to protect ourselves and like obviously to like filter out a lot of people that could misunderstand what we were saying and like the topics that we choose to talk about in the show. So yeah.
You're right. I think originally when we started 3 years ago, we were a little concerned with the way that our topics were going to be handled by our listeners and our viewers. As you know, El Salvador, or you may not know this, El Salvador is a very conservative country, and we're currently transitioning to being more modern in different ways. Modern defining consumerism primarily, the ability to purchase things, not necessarily to think critically. And for us, as critical thinkers, we were going to bring up some subjects and themes that could be potentially controversial. And in this country, you turn into a soundbite. And we wanted to avoid that. We wanted to make sure that whoever was listening to us was actually informed and wanted to be here and not just getting a clip from us and then running with that on the news or whatever, because primarily I don't think our podcast has anything to do with hate. I mean, we don't hate on anybody and we don't attack anybody. We just talk about how relationships affect our lives, and it could be a relationship with our partners, with our friends, with work, with things, with places and finances. I mean, and our sexuality. And I think the subject of sexuality was a big thing because we don't, as Latina women and Salvadoran women, we don't talk about sexuality. And when we started this podcast 3 years ago, not a lot of people were talking about sexuality that much.
They still don't, I feel.
But they have a lot more in different ways. Remember that podcast that we heard the other day?
Yeah, true.
It was really, what's it called? Raw. We would personally not use that kind of language.
Hmm.
And I'm not criticizing her, or yeah, it was a girl, criticizing her, but it's not our style. But we wanted to touch on sexuality in a way that was um, informative, not so much cringe or sensationalist. And so we decided to do it in English.
Hmm.
But then a lot of people complained, saying that we were exclusive,
Excluding.
right, and excluding a lot of Latinos who didn't speak English. So it was never our intention to do that, but at the same time we do want our voices to be heard around the world. And unfortunately, at this point in time, English is the dominant language, and soon to be Mandarin.
Hmm.
Soon to be Mandarin. um, we don't speak Mandarin fluently, so we
So
apologize
I
in advance.
apologize. There will be any the unfiltered Mandarin
Not
version
yet.
anytime
Ni
soon.
hao. But definitely, English is the most common language around the world for business and for even movies. And so for us, it made more sense to have a podcast in English and reach out to everybody. I think it's important that people hear the voices of Latina women across the world, not just the version they see in Hollywood, which is written by white people,
Hmm.
but our actual lives, our experiences, our feelings. And so for me, at least, it was very important to do this in English so that anybody could listen to us and finally, have our voices heard,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, and all the people that were giving us a hard time about the fact that we chose to do this in English kind of proved our point. I
They
feel
did.
like
Yeah,
because they were very insulting and like the
they
messages
were.
they were very rude,
Hmm.
and they just proved the point of like and they kind of endorsed that we made the right decision in doing this in English. So
That's true. So thanks for supporting us and listening to us. And I think that one day it would be totally fun to make an episode in Spanish,
yeah,
just go crazy in
yeah.
Spanish. Coquette, darling, could you explain Coquette to me? I have an idea of Coquette, especially because I consider myself a Coquette woman. For as per the definition, original definition of
Yeah.
Coquette, French word, by the way. But go ahead, explain what it means now with the kids, with the cool kids.
So coquette is like, right now is a trend, is like an aesthetic, and people like to jump on trends and aesthetics real quick and drop them real quick as well. We saw Barbie core last year. Everything was about Barbie. Then we had Y2K 2000s aesthetic prior to that. And now everything's about like more girly but more ruffles. Not like pink, but more ruffles, bows, delicate, very French inspired. And yeah, this is like the thing right now, and I'm all for it because I think I wasn't into the Y2K aesthetic or the space cowgirl with like silver
Oh,
everywhere. I think this is my aesthetic because I've always been very like girly deep down. So I'm kind of trying to explore this aesthetic, and I think I feel comfortable, and I think that that's important. Like when you with all these trends, like we can barely keep up. I think like we have a trend one month, February is going to be another trend, March is going to be another trend, and so on and so forth. These are very much influenced by the it girls, Hailey Bieber, Sophia Richie, and whatnot. So I think like if you're gonna jump into a trend, you should feel comfortable and make it like yours, like
mm-hmm.
adapt it to your essence. But I was wondering, why do we keep jumping on different trends like every 3 weeks? And I read this article about this trend analyst in the US, and he I don't remember if it was a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
They said that it just like when someone jumps into a trend, it makes them feel like they're part of something bigger and
Yeah.
have that sense of community. And I feel like that's something
Mm-hmm.
that is really helping a lot of people nowadays. Like we are living in really hard times, not only like with religion, with war, with politics. Now like it's a financial crisis, and it's been for a while, for a few years now,
Yeah.
but right now I think we're at the peak.
Mm-hmm. It's affecting the newer generation, I find, because you're right. I mean, this crisis has been coming for a very long time. We saw it in 2008. People lost their homes, and I mean, we saw this coming. We saw this coming. However, I think that it is not until it applies to your day-to-day life that it really hits home. And you can see that the young people right now, doesn't matter what they do, us included, even though I'm not
Hmm.
considered young, uh, we work really hard to make ends meet and still cannot get there.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. And the question is, how are you going to survive in this new world? Because there are no jobs. The jobs that you have are not well paid. Rents are going higher. Everything is pricier. If you
The
go to
cost of
this,
living is just generally
just
getting,
just
yeah.
the basic, let alone clothing and traveling and stuff like that, just the basic. So what's going to happen? I mean, how do you tell a generation that's coming up, like the kids that are still yet to graduate, how do you tell them to have hope in a system that
Hmm.
clearly won't let them even breathe? They're going to be working just to survive.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if I feel like I'm drowning,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine people that are actually like in a really bad position, right? Like not being able to pay their rent, or
Mm-hmm.
like right now. And I don't want to sound like I'm just, like being all, I don't know, like how to say it.
Shallow,
Not shallow, but
selfish,
yeah, kind of.
egotistical. I can keep going, you know?
Yeah.
I'll throw in all the words.
Dictionary, Vanessa. But because I know that we come from privilege,
Yeah.
I probably have it easier than other people, and I
Mm-hmm.
probably aren't as bad, that my situation is not as bad as other people.
Yeah.
But still, like, I feel like it's suffocating me,
Mm-hmm.
paying the bills, and like the cost of living, and my loans. Like, I bought my car, and like it's so much,
Mm-hmm.
and I can barely save any money, or there's barely any money left to for entertainment, which is also very important.
Yeah.
Like, we're human, like we need entertainment, we need fun, it's part of life. And it's just been really hard lately, and I really wonder, like, how, like, when is this going to stop?
Well, I mean, according to Karl Marx, this is not going to stop until there is an overhaul of the system, of the capitalist
Mm-hmm.
system, That's why he tried to explain that. He wrote many books. One of his books was called Capitalism Volume 1, where he
Mm-hmm.
explains with formulas. It's actually really cool because what he did was, instead of trying to explain the problems of capitalism with philosophy, he tried to explain them through formulas so that economists could understand. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because the economists were all liberal, and for them it was all like, let's produce more, let's sell more. And then he came in and said, well, the production of massive goods is also a problem, especially in a world with limited resources like
Mm-hmm.
Earth and all that stuff, right? So what he did is he tried to explain the problems of capitalism with formulas so that
Mm-hmm.
the economists could understand. Isn't that cool?
It is.
But coming back to your point, I mean, you feel like you're suffocating. You are technically Gen Z, right?
Yeah,
Or
I'm right on the verge.
on the cusp of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are Gen Z, millennial. You're a young person, but you also subscribe to the aesthetics of social media and life, right? So I guess coming back to the whole Coquette thing is, how do you sell the illusion of Coquette and any other trends, knowing that for so many people, even reaching Coquette or reaching any sort of aesthetic is not feasible.
Not if we can't
They
afford it.
can't afford
Yeah.
it.
It's hard, like, because like you said, I do work in, social media influencers and whatever, marketing, and I am very involved in social media. That's my job.
Yeah.
But I am conscious to identify, like, I don't need everything that people are selling me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and sometimes I have to admit, sometimes I fall into the trap. Like, I need this. Oh yeah, I need this. This is gonna make my life so much better. But sometimes, like, for example, I do a lot of beauty videos and beauty content.
Mm-hmm. Super helpful, by the way. It's helped me a lot. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but
No, you've gotten really good.
I learned everything
You've
from
always
it.
been good at your makeup,
I
actually.
know, but I
Yeah.
like following you because it's neutral. And it's funny because just a parenthesis real quick. When I started doing my makeup, it was in 2003,
Hmm.
and it was through a brand that they would teach us how to, do our makeup. But now everything they taught me is the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even the for foundation, they would be like, you have to cake yourself up first and then do your eyes. And then it's like that makes no sense because then you get all dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do the eyes you first and then you put foundation, which is something that you are doing now too. And so it's funny how we always have to get an upgrade on
Yeah,
information and knowledge.
it's ever
So
changing. It's
yeah.
ever
So I take my
evolving.
tips from Maria. Go ahead. That was my
But
parenthesis.
yeah, so me being into the beauty content creation world, and I see all these content creators that have a closet full of makeup with 100 and plus blushes, 200 and plus lipsticks,
Wow.
and I go like, when are you gonna use all this stuff? Like,
Oh,
when are you gonna? Like, it's gonna expire.
that's right, because they do expire.
How?
Hmm.
Like make it make sense. Why in the world would you ever have that much makeup? And I love makeup and I love to buy makeup. Like it's a problem. But I right now I know that I don't have more than 4 blushes in my
Mm-hmm.
collection. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact because I don't like the of overconsumption and like overspending in something that's not necessary.
But how do you and I think in your case it's something that's clear to you because you have a good head over your shoulders and you are educated, you went to
Hmm.
university and you are older now, I mean you are younger than me, but you're still older than
Hmm.
this newer generations.
Hmm.
I was just watching today a video about the Sephora kids, for
Hmm. Oh
example,
my god, yeah.
from 9 to 13, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this is a different world, but how do you, as a social media creator, how do you balance knowing that you're creating amazing content, but
Hmm.
how do you balance knowing that there are so many kids and young people who are so impressionable that they think that they must have these things in order to be somebody and to feel like their life is worthwhile, or rather that they belong to, right? Which is the other thing
Hmm.
about community. Because it's really scary to think that if I am not Coquette this time around, I am no one, and then and
I'm not coquette.
I'm not Coquette. And let me just add something. As you can see,
Mm.
I have no trend. I don't think I've ever followed a single trend. I follow, what's it called, to the beat of my own drum. It's everything I do is Vanessa Tomasino.
Mhm.
It's, I do whatever the fuck I want. But I've been aware of that since I was a kid. I always knew I was different, but there's some other people who love to belong.
Mhm.
But what if they can't afford it, or what if they die? I mean, not physically, I mean financially drown trying to afford it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, my content, like I try not to push like every single product. I barely do like product reviews, honestly.
Hmm.
Like it's really rare.
Mm.
It's only when I have to like repurchase.
And the ones you do are very helpful.
Mhm.
Like I had to ask you a few things about lipsticks and I forgot, but
Mhm.
it's on my
Good to
list.
know.
I
Good to
know.
know. But yeah, I mean, I rarely buy clothes too. Like I rarely do. Like what I probably purchase the most is beauty because like
Hmm.
I do makeup and
But that's
stuff.
your
So like
job though.
I need material to
Hmm.
work.
Hmm.
But I barely buy clothes. Like I don't consider myself someone who's like consistently
Like a hoarder.
or like overspending and like stuff that I already have like two, if I
Hmm.
have a plain V-neck, white V-neck, like that's all I need,
Yeah.
And with trends, I try to kind of transform what I already have into the trend.
Hmm.
I could wear this dress, which right now looks very coquette, but I can also wear it with, Dr. Martin boots
Yeah.
and make it more like edgy. Right now, I'm wearing like socks and like these Mary Janes, so like it looks more
Coquette.
flirty, coquette,
Hmm.
girly. So I try to incorporate trends with things that I already have, and I try not to buy new stuff that's gonna be old news and like.
Yeah, you're recycling. I
Mhm.
guess you're recycling, but you're also
And I
doing it
love
smart.
thrifting too. I
Hmm.
sell and buy like used clothes.
Hmm.
Mhm.
No, that's a good way to do it. I'm just, I was telling you this earlier. I was watching the video on the Stanley
Cups.
cups,
Hmm.
and I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't know. Like lately, I've been terrible on social media.
Hmm.
I think it's because I am investing a lot of time on me and my
Hmm.
kids. Right now I'm trying to be like the best mom ever. So I'm taking like 2 hours or an hour to read with my kid. I'm taking them to soccer practice, and so I don't have a lot of time for myself. And the time that I do have for myself is to sleep and to read, because reading is definitely the cornerstone of our society, or at least it should be. And so I've been turned off by social media. But one of the things that I saw today, which was very shocking to me, was the Stanley Cups.
Crazy.
I know, because last time I heard, there were the Yeti cups, the Yetis that they kept your drink cold and warm as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that was a trend, that was a thing. It was like everybody had, you must have a Yeti, you must have a Yeti, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly the Stanley. And then I was reading about it, and it was all about a company, a construction company, then revamping their idea of
I didn't
selling.
know that.
Yeah, because
Oh, so
Stanley, they
Stanley Cup,
sell, because
yeah.
the Stanleys, they sell equipment for like tools.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's for
like the drills and
construction.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and so they had those cups
For
for
the workers.
for the workers. So apparently, this group of moms, I guess influencer moms, I'm not sure,
They're like, no,
they
no, no.
no, don't cancel the cups, don't discontinue them, but with the condition that they were going to buy them, like, I don't know, some ridiculous amount of cups if they made them in pastel colors. So Stanley were like, sure, why not, crazy? I'm adding here just for the flair of the story. Yeah, why not, crazy women? We'll give you pink cups. And so they bought them, resold them. They went flying off the shelves, and Stanley was like, business opportunity, and they started making the cups, and now they're flying off the shelves,
And now
and
there's
apparently not
and now
anymore.
there's accessories for Stanley Cups.
What?
Yeah, there's like little silicone things so it doesn't like sound like make this like noisy sound
Yeah,
when
the
you put,
clunk.
yeah, the clunk. There's like
Huh.
for your card holder, car adapter, to like put in like straws to like I don't know. It's crazy to me.
There's another video too. I didn't know this. I don't know if you know this, but apparently a car blew up and there was a Stanley Cup
Oh
inside.
yeah, and this is the only thing that survived. Yeah.
Exactly. Untouched. And I think that after that, people were like,
Oh my
oh, I
god.
must have a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Which is funny to say Stanley Cup, because I think of hockey when I say Stanley
Hmm.
Cup, but the name of the brand is Stanley,
Yeah.
and they are
Yeah.
cups.
The
So
Stanley Cup.
sorry, hockey fans. They're going like, oh, why is she saying Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
It's a Stanley mug. I don't know. Can I say mug?
Jug.
Jug.
Tumbler.
Tumbler. It's a Stanley tumbler. Happy? Does it sound better?
Mhm.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, so what do you do if you can't afford those things? Or too, like, how do you resolve the conflict within ourselves, knowing that maybe we can't even afford it, and yet we have to show that we do.
I mean, I think that for me, with like trends, aesthetic wise, I think that's more affordable because you can,
It's a look.
do your hair
It's a look.
different,
Yeah.
like adapt your makeup. You
Hmm.
can like redo your clothes and revamp you like a shirt or a skirt
Hmm.
with things when it's like a thing. It's a trend to have a certain item. I don't jump on that. Like, because I feel like I know that in 3 months it's gonna be another
Hmm.
thing and another thing, and you're gonna be like stuck with so many material things in your house and like hoard all these stuff. I don't know. I just feel like it's unsustainable, and like I that's how capitalism is designed. Like it's designed so that you always invariably are missing something.
You feel like you must have something to be complete,
Hmm.
and every new thing that comes, you must have.
And you're always gonna be incomplete.
Yeah. I have to say though, I mean, I've seen these videos of Amazon must-haves, and I even saw your packing one, because
Yeah,
you're so silly. You don't like packing. I love
I hate
packing.
packing.
I love packing because the idea of leaving anywhere makes me happy.
I just want to like teletransport myself to that place. I hate the process. I hate planes. I'm afraid of
We-
flying now. I
but
hate
that's your own fault for watching that movie. Like
I
I
hate security checkpoints. I hate immigration. I hate airports. I hate all of that. I just want to be in the place like now.
It's so funny. I love the airport and I like
I know
flying.
people like you that love it, but I
Yeah.
just can't.
I love the smell of the airport, coffee and bags, and I don't know,
And I'm like,
but it's so funny.
people.
But it's funny because I love packing because for me it's like Tetris. You know Tetris,
Hmm.
okay? It's like playing Tetris, and I only travel with a backpack. Maybe once in a blue moon, a carry on,
Yeah.
but overall it's just a backpack. And I love the idea of it's like I have one pair of jeans or one pant, one pair of shoes, and like three shirts, four underwear, and then let's see what the world gives me. Like it's I like that freedom and jumping on a plane like it's just getting on a bus.
Hmm.
And so when I'm packing, that's my favorite part because I'm putting everything together. It's neatly packed and making space for the things I'm gonna get. Like it's I don't know. And then I saw your video and you're like, I hate packing. I'm like, what?
I hate
And
packing
you have everything. Like you have things I didn't even know I needed. And then I'm like, I must have that. And I'm like, no, no, no. I
because
don't
I'm
need
OCD.
that.
I need order all the time, or I go crazy.
But I think it's beyond order.
It,
Like
it's OCD. It's compulsive.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at all of her stuff and I'm going, wow, I need that. And then I'm like, no, I don't need that, but I want it.
Yeah.
So it's
There's
that
a
thing.
difference.
It's a difference. So it's understanding that, like, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? Uh and what is it that makes me who I am? Is it the things that make me who I am? Because I'm 100% it's not.
Hmm.
Just because I know that in my life there have been times where I don't have anything, and that's where I've felt where I felt absolutely fulfilled. And then there are other times where I have a lot of shit and I just felt like a total poser.
Hmm.
And so I don't know, I just with trends I like to watch them, like the Amazon you must have. I always go, I must have that, but then I'm like, I've survived 42
Yeah.
years without it. I don't think I need it now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. How do you keep that balance of not completely going crazy and making your life about spending and buying things?
It's hard.
It's
Because
hard.
I do have like a shopping problem, but I've gotten better at it because my husband is like, he's just like you. He doesn't really need anything. He's like, no, I don't need
Oh
anything.
yeah.
He's always like, I don't need anything. Like, no, like, what do you want for Christmas? No, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's never, and he's not like shopaholic or remotely. Like, he will have two pairs of underwear and he's gonna rotate it.
Yeah.
He's gonna wash it every day if he needs to.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need more. And I always say, like, do you need like more boxers? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good with my two pairs.
Ask me how many high heels I have.
How many?
One pair.
Really?
Hmm.
No, I've seen like three at least.
No, look at my all my pictures on Instagram. It's the same. It's the same shoe.
I'm gonna go
And
on
it wasn't
Instagram.
until I broke them, like literally tore them, that I just recently purchased a new. But it's the same shoe. Look at all my dresses. It's the same shoe. It's funny because nobody notices. And you know that what the trick is getting them in a nude color, because then people don't realize you're
The
wearing shoes.
wedges.
No, no. Yeah, those are. But I have one wedge, right, that I
Mhm.
use in every picture, and then those shoes. Yeah, look at those.
Yeah.
Those. Look at all my pictures with my dresses. They're same shoes for 4 years until I broke them.
Oh,
Yeah.
sad story.
See?
Yeah.
It's so weird. The same with runners. I only have one pair of runners.
These are the wedges, no?
Those are the wedges. Yeah. I have them in pink and black. That's it. And I rotate them. It's the same brand, the same shoe is just in pink and black,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
it. See? since
This
my
was
since my oldest son
4 years
Eric,
ago.
yeah,
Oh, here they are.
same shoes. See? It's not a joke. Like I really don't buy shoes. I don't buy shoes. I don't buy purses. I don't buy clothes. I recycle them, and I occasionally there you go. See, same shoes. What? Oh my god.
That's
The
funny.
comments.
That's funny.
All good comments, by the way. It's just that people come and go from your life. But sometimes I was reading this quote that said, "Oh yeah, look at those in the picture, in the group picture. Can you see the shoes?
No.
Yeah, I love those
Oh yeah.
shoes. Yeah, there you go.
She was right.
Yay!
I want to say that she was right and I was wrong. I'm sorry.
I win. I was reading this quote, this meme thing that said, "Sometimes God will take you out of the table, like of the dinner table that you're at, because he's protecting you from something,
Hmm.
rather than saying, why did I not get invited to this table?
Hmm.
Sometimes God removes you from the table to prevent
I saw,
anything from
yeah.
happening." And I was like, I never thought about that. When people come and go from your life, you always go like, oh, we used to be good friends. What happened? Blah, blah. And then you go, you know what? Maybe there's a reason why they're not meant to be in your life
Hmm.
anymore. But yeah, I thought it was insightful, needless to say. Can you explain something to me as well that is not 100% clear in my mind, and I
Sure.
think to a lot of people? What is aesthetic? What does it define aesthetic?
Let me pull up Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, because it's an urban thing. Because I know that when we talk about regular aesthetic, we talk about visually something, how it
Hmm.
seems, how it's perceived. But urban, like the way that we colloquially use it now, like cringe, what does it mean?
Okay, so in the dictionary it
Mm-hmm.
says an adjective
Mm-hmm.
concerned with beauty or the appreciation of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
As a noun, it says a set of principles underlying and guiding the work of a particular artistic movement. Artist or artistic movement.
Mm-hmm.
See, Urban Dictionary. Let's
Yeah.
see what.
So aesthetic. So how something looks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As the oh, aesthetic. My fingers are not working right now. A combination of things that are pleasing to look at.
Okay. So it means that whatever is
Hmm.
pleasing rotates and changes throughout time. So something
Mm-hmm.
like right now is coquette. Tomorrow it could be, I don't know, death.
Goth.
Goth again.
Again, yeah, because
Again.
it was a thing like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I did like the I did like the trend of the 90s. I felt good with that one.
Like you know how Dua Lipa like brought the '80s back and like
She
with her,
did?
yeah, with her
Oh.
with her album Future Nostalgia and everything. Like she brought the kind of '80s slash like combination with Y2K. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything was like bling and silver and like spiky hairdos and like glitter and like light blue
Spiky. Yeah,
eyeshadow.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Hmm.
So Maria, before we end this episode with
Hmm.
Coquette, what would you say are some of the principles of Coquette? Like if I were to say, I mean, because clearly I have no trend right now, but if I were to transform myself into Coquette, what are some of the basic things that I should be looking for?
Okay, bows.
Bows.
So
Oh
you can
wow.
see bow,
Oh wow. Yeah,
bow,
bows.
ruffles,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
ruffles, neutrals,
Neutrals, you mean like
like
earthy tones,
colors.
like pastel
Like past like if you're gonna
pink,
do a pink, it's gonna be like a pastel pink
not a neon pink.
like a old rose pink.
Okay. Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
like pastels with like neutrals.
The
Um
makeup is more natural. It's
it's more
natural.
natural, it's more like girly, more soft, more
Okay.
romantic.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Wow. I'll try to jump on this trend before it ends next week. It's so funny.
Please do.
It's so funny because I went to the hair salon today to your hair salon,
My
and
mom's.
yeah, and then suddenly I don't know, I just overheard somebody talk about Coquette, and they said something like, "Oh, this is so Coquette," and I'm like, "What do you mean? What is
What
happening?"
do you mean? What do you mean?
I just felt dumb, for a second. I was like, "Oh my god." Um, I wanted to touch quickly before we end on something that my friend Mackenzie asked me the other day because he was listening to our podcast. Hey, Team
Huh.
Adventure, I'm
Hi.
Mackenzie. He said, "Why do we use the phrase becoming the best version of yourself instead of saying being yourself?"
Nice.
Well, I try to explain to him that by versions, we mean that we're constantly changing and trying to become better than we were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But then he kept on repeating that by version, it just seems like the version is fake. So like there's you
Or
and
flawed.
there's a version of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to explain it that it wasn't like that, that it was mostly like your version, meaning that you're constantly revamping, renewing, changing, evaluating who you are. And that's why we call it a version. Vanessa from last week is not the same Vanessa as today, and tomorrow will be a different Vanessa. It's a
Mm-hmm.
different version. It doesn't mean that I'm fake.
Mm-hmm.
It means that I am evolving, right? And so he said to me, well, I want further clarification because it
No.
sounds like you're saying that you're pretending to be different to different people. And so I just wanted to bring that up and say, when we mean versions, we are not actually saying that you have to lie to people to pretend to be someone else, but rather that a version meaning that it is like a model, like a model of your car, right? Like your yesterday, it's a different or an older model than
Mm-hmm.
today. It's not that we're pretending to be anybody. I mean, we do pretend to be different with different people. I'm different with my mom. I'm different with my dad. I'm different with my friends. I'm different with my partner. Yeah, for sure. But I still try to maintain my authenticity in who I am. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fake. It's just I try to be socially acceptable, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
I
So
guess.
I guess not everybody's gonna love me just the way I am, although they should. And I'm gonna ask you a question. It's because I heard it today. This girl saying, "Do you want to be loved for who you are or for what you do and your accomplishments?"
For who I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you love yourself, how do you love
I
yourself?
sent you that video.
Yeah, that's the one I was.
Yeah.
But how do you love yourself? By the
Like,
accomplishments that you
yeah.
make.
Mm-hmm.
See, when Maria sent me this video today, I kept on thinking about that because you and I are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
We always think that we have to be the best at
Mm-hmm.
everything that we do. And if we don't, like if we're actresses and we do an audition, it has to be the best audition. And then we have to book it. It's like,
Yeah.
if not, it feels like we're less than.
Or like we failed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now my question to you is, do you feel that about me? Like when I see you, I don't see your accomplishments. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And your accomplishments is almost like the extra things. Like I don't even 100% know what you do. Like I know you work, and I
I'm not
know
sure what the fuck
no,
you
but
do.
you know what I mean? Like I don't 100% no
Understand. Yeah.
understand what you do. I just trust that you're happy. And even if you didn't do what you do, I would still love you,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But why is it then that we can't handle that with ourselves?
Yeah, because I feel the same about you. Like I love
Yeah,
you for you, not for Vanessa, the actress that has, done so many projects, so many movies and stuff. Like I admire that, but I love you for you.
keep going. How many things I've done? How
Two
wonderful I
kids,
am.
one pandemic,
Hmm.
everything.
And one pandemic, two kids, one pandemic, one chihuahua. Let me tell you, having handling a chihuahua, it's a big deal.
Mhm.
But you're right. Like I don't see friendships in this meter of success. I see my friendships as in like, can we connect?
Mhm.
And if you're happy doing whatever, then I'll be happy for you. But when you sent me that video, I was shocked because I kept on thinking, why am I so hard on myself?
Yeah, we're so like why do we value like we put our own value on the things we do not for being ourselves. So like it's sad.
It's sad, and it made me wonder, what is it that I'm grateful for in
Mhm.
my life? Because I am grateful for who I am, and sometimes I am grateful for what I have and what I've done, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't change who I am.
Yeah.
Whether I book this big role or I don't, it doesn't change who I am. The same with weight and looking at people. Like when I see my friends, when I see you or even my partner, I can't tell if you've lost or gained weight because I just love you, your energy, your essence. People will constantly be like, hey, look at me. And I'm like, what? I lost weight. I'm like, okay. I can't tell. I can't tell. But with me, is every morning I wake up and I'm like,
Diet.
too fat
Yeah.
or too skinny. I'm all constantly attacking myself and seeing things that I don't see in other people. Then why am I doing it with myself?
Yeah, we're terrible. We suck.
We suck. Let's just coquette our way through life, like let's go. Where are my bows? But yeah, no, I think it's something that we should discuss further in other episodes. How do we bring back that that empathy we have for ourselves and that
Mm-hmm.
love that we have for ourselves, regardless of whether we have money or things or the expectation of society of getting married, having children, having a partner. What if you don't ever want to have a partner? Should that diminish your
No,
value?
no.
Quite the opposite. I think we should respect everybody's decision, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we should bring back a conversation of how to accept ourselves despite any sort of pressure from outside. If you have any questions for us, you can feel free to message us. So you can message Maria at
MF Bruson on TikTok and Instagram, and Vanessa.
Vanessa Tomasino. That's one N, then that's one S on TikTok and Instagram. You can send us a message. You can ask us questions if you want us to discuss something in particular. We'll be very happy to do that. And we'll try not to get too angry. I know sometimes we rant, but we're keeping it light
Oh
this year,
no,
remember?
we're coquette this year,
We're
so we're
coquette
not
this
gonna be
year.
angry.
I mean, you're coquette. I am trying to understand coquette. Next episode, I'll come with like a huge
A
bow.
huge bow
And you'll,
everywhere.
and you'll be like, coquette trend is over. It's like,
Now
we've
we're
moved
back to
on.
like Death Eater aesthetic.
The chupacabra setting.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.